Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're diving into one of the most heart-wrenching aspects of Grey's Anatomy, the tragic patient deaths that left us in tears. From unexpected twists to heartbreaking goodbyes, these moments not only tested the doctor's skills, but their emotional strength as well. Grab your tissues because we're counting down the 10 most tragic patient deaths in the show's history. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more Grey's Anatomy content. Let's get started. Starting off at number 10, we have Susan Grey. Susan was Thatcher Grey's second wife, mother to Molly and Lexi, and the only person among whatever family Meredith ever had who was genuinely interested in her and wanted to be a part of her life.
Well, it's not easy, because he's afraid of you.
I shouldn't have bit his head off. I wish I could have just...
Meredith, it's okay to get angry. It's you in the picture.
In season 3, Susan came to Seattle Grace complaining of hiccups. Meredith and Thatcher even wondered whether she was trying to trick them into getting together. However, things spiraled from there, and what had begun as simple hiccups ended with Susan's death.
We did everything we could.
Thatcher was naturally shattered and, in his grief, held Meredith responsible for his wife's death. At number 9, we have Nick Hanscom. Nick Hanscom had a giant tumor in his carotid artery, which had been removed by Mark Sloan. However, his artery had become practically exposed after the surgery, and it ran the risk of bursting at any moment. Lexi Grey was left in charge of Nick until Dr. Sloan could come back and operate on him further. Nick was the proverbial nice guy who had been dumped by his girlfriend after he developed the tumor. He struck up a conversation with Lexi and was having a lighthearted moment with her when his artery burst rather horrifically.
Holy crap. My artery blew.
The doctors did their best with him, but Nick died, leaving Lexi devastated. And at number 8, we have Karin Taylor. Remember Matthew Taylor, the paramedic who almost married April Kepner but got jilted at the altar at the last moment? Well, before he ended up marrying Kepner for real in the season 14 finale, Matthew had been married to Karin. Karin came into the hospital in labor and gave birth to a little girl. The delivery was emergent, but smooth enough until she started feeling pain.
Usually low.
No.
Ow! Hey, Karin, what's the problem?
Oh, where have you been? I had an emergency surgery.
On Ruby?
No, Ruby's fine. Karin, what's going on?
Her BP's a little elevated and her abdomen is extremely tender.
Her condition deteriorated very fast, and she died unexpectedly, leaving behind a devastated husband and a newborn. Although Matthew did find happiness with April again afterwards, yet to learn that he had been deeply hurt once but had managed to move forward and find love, only to lose that love all over again, was tragic beyond words. At number 7, we have Mary Portman. Mary was Bailey's patient who was admitted for a colostomy reversal surgery, but got embroiled in a shooting incident when a grieving husband of a dead patient wreaked havoc in the hospital wielding a gun.
Dr. Percy, hide.
What?
Just hide. Mary, play dead.
Wait, what's happening?
Just do not move.
Mary was with Bailey every step of the way as the latter tried her best to save a dying Charles Percy. 6 months after the incident, Mary came back to finally get her surgery, and although the operation went smoothly, she never woke up.
Sometimes patients do not wake up from surgery. With every surgery, there's a risk. In this case, the post-operative CT showed no sign of stroke, no acute bleed. We've run PET scans, MRIs, tried fluids, pressors. Basically, that's what I have to go and talk to Bill about today.
The fact that she had survived a gunman only to die from a relatively simple surgery was tragic indeed. And at number 6, we have Stan. The same episode that had Nick Hanscom saw another tragedy when an ambulance crashed in the hospital bay into another ambulance, overturning it in the process. The two paramedics stuck inside the overturned ambulance were Ray and Stan. The two were best friends, and the latter's wife was a nurse in the hospital itself. The doctors, despite desperately wanting to help, weren't able to save Stan, who was trapped underneath the rig waist downwards. If he was so much as moved, he was sure to have bled out. The scene where Stan's wife is summoned to see her husband one last time, followed by his eventual death, is heart-wrenching, to say the least. Coming off at number 5, we have George O'Malley. The lovable George O'Malley died tragically at the end of season 5, having suffered horrific injuries after jumping in front of a bus to save a woman on the street. His injuries were so severe that not even his closest friends at the hospital were able to recognize him, and he was labeled a John Doe for the longest time. George was one of the core cast members for the first 5 seasons, and his shocking death marked one of the first tragedies that were to befall Meredith and her friends over the course of the next seasons. At number 4, we have Henry Burton. One of the most tragic patient deaths in the history of Grey's has been that of Henry Burton, the heart patient whom Dr. Teddy Altman married at a whim.
I have great medical insurance.
Way to kick a guy when he's down.
I'm saying, I'm saying that I'll marry you.
And later fell in love with. Henry developed complications and was admitted for surgery at the hospital. Teddy, of course, couldn't possibly operate on her own husband. Moreover, since she was busy with another surgery, she wasn't even informed of the tragedy until much later. The drama surrounding Henry's death was enough to move anybody to tears. Number 2, we have Denny Duquette. Denny was the handsome patient with a weak heart who was waiting for his turn for a transplant. He fell in love with Izzy Stevens, and the attraction soon became mutual. One of the major storylines of season 2 was Izzy's growing feelings for her patient, and the season finale was a rather emotionally wrought episode where Izzy went as far as to cut his LVAD wire and even practically stole a heart from another patient who was above Denny on the transplant list. Despite all that, he died suddenly and tragically. Even though his surgery had been a success, the sight of Izzy clinging to a dead Denny was one of the most tragic moments of the series in its early days. Finally, at number 1, we have Mark Sloan. Plastic surgeon Mark Sloan was one of the doctors who had been aboard the aircraft that had crashed in the middle of nowhere on its way to Boise in the shocking season 8 finale. For some time after the crash, Mark seemed to be doing okay, but his condition deteriorated rapidly after the love of his life. Lexi Gray died tragically in front of him. He collapsed soon after and had to be kept alive by the other doctors, Christina in particular.
Mark.
Season 9 opened with Mark being in a coma. He had also requested to be taken off life support if he did not come out of his coma in a month's time. For the sentimental, it is possible that the brilliant, handsome Mark Sloan just gave up after Lexi died and realized he would never be able to tell her that he loved her after all. Thanks for watching, everyone! Grey's Anatomy has always been a show that tugs at our heartstrings, and these tragic patient deaths are a big part of what makes it so unforgettable. Which of these moments hit you the hardest, or is there another patient loss that left you in tears? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more deep dives into Grey's Anatomy. See you in the next video!